Hi, and welcome to Kaz Vance's Books Trader Showcases. Today we've got Scorch from Scorch Pyrography
That's
here with
me.
us. Yeah, that's you. Just going to hand over to Scorch now to tell us a little bit about what she does.
Oh, thank you so much. It's really kind of you to give me this opportunity to talk to people, as we can't all be at MCM, we can't all be at the conventions. It's really nice to have this opportunity instead. So yes, I am Scorch. My real name's Tracy Anderson. You may have seen me at shows, but I go by Scorch because I'm so fiery, and yeah, but it's more because of what I do. What I do is pyrography. And pyrography is burning designs into wood and leather with a hot wire. And maybe I'll give you a bit of a demo of that a bit later on. But before then, perhaps I'll show you something of the kinds of things I make, because you can do this on both wood and on vegetable tanned leather as well. And I have on my desk right now some examples of some of the bookmarks that I make that you might see. And some of those are quite simple things. Let's see if I can turn this round so you get it instead of me. So you can see that. Well, you could see it till they did that. You can see that you can burn all kinds of designs, and doing text is actually quite simple. So you can make text of all kinds of geeky things. I have possibly the largest collection of geeky bookmarks in the world.
Oh, I like the bottom
This
one a lot.
Curse your sudden inevitable betrayal. I have also I am a leaf on the wind. See how I soar in here somewhere, and a stay shiny. So you can do all sorts of interesting things, and it's quite a simple thing to do on leather. Actually, it's kind of like calligraphy. You move the wire along slowly and make these interesting bookmarks. You do need vegetable tanned leather though, otherwise you poison yourself, because regular leather is tanned with all sorts of horrible chemicals that you really wouldn't want to breathe in. And it does also mean that you can make, as well as those bold things, you can do equally bold designs that are just simple images, text, that kind of thing. So I do all kinds of geeky things, all kinds of fun stuff. And if we just lift this up, my real love, you see, is to do the detailed work. I like to do the fancy stuff. That way and
Oh,
upwards.
wow.
There we go. I like to do the fancy stuff. And because I'm a dragon fan, everything's better with a dragon on it. So I have lots of things with dragons, as well as Cutie Pie in the middle there, and the whale and the petunias, all the fun stuff. I do make stuff on commission, but for the shows, I make the stuff I like and bring it along. And because I'm a massive geek, so I make stuff that equally geeky people will probably like. In fact, with the quote bookmarks, all the geeky ones, I do have a standard challenge, which is if you can identify what all the quotes are, who said them or what they mean, you can have your pick. Take whichever one you want. No one's ever done it yet. I'm a bit
That's a good
sneaky.
challenge.
It's quite a challenge, yeah. Well, there's quite a few, you see. There's quite a few. I mean, take your pick. Can you... this comes from...
Oh, I have no idea. You have no power over me. I'm looking at my massive geek to see if he knows, but he doesn't.
David Bowie.
Oh, David Bowie,
Labyrinth.
Labyrinth.
Labyrinth. You have no power over me. Somewhere. Let's see what else. How about TV shows?
How am I looking? No, I'm lost. Still?
Cat from Red Dwarf.
Ah, lovely.
All sorts of things. So I do lots of leather stuff. Do sort of hairpins, bookmarks, purses, all sorts of odds and ends. But I guess the most popular thing is the wooden stuff. Now, the wooden things, I've got lots of different things, but some of the most popular are the boxes. And again, I'm a great dragon fan, so why not have dragons? And if you're a real dragon geek, why not a dragon holding some D20s? For a dice box, they mostly open up, so you can put whatever you like in them. And they come in various sizes of all different sorts, from the tiny, tiny ones through the medium-sized ones, right up to the biggest box I can get, because everybody would always say, these boxes are not big enough for my dice. I have more dice than will go in these Choose Your Weapons boxes. So, the mega box. So a really big box. In fact, this box is still packed that I would ready to take to an event. So let's see what's inside. So what have we got? We've got these dice trying to kill me.
How much would a box like that retail for?
A box like this, I'd sell, this particular one is £16. The little tiny ones, let's just move that aside just there, make a lot of noise. They go for £9 or £10 if they're really, really detailed, a little bit more, because it's all about how long it takes to make, you see. So although this box is not much bigger, it takes a long while to do because it's very detailed. So that's £20. The great big box, these are the most expensive things I sell. And so a great big box like this one would normally be about 30, 34, depending how detailed it is. That's quite a simplified design, so it doesn't take quite so long. So it doesn't cost quite so much. Because if you imagine drawing it in with a felt tip pen, bit by bit by bit, it takes a long while to do. So I have to pay for the box itself, obviously, buy that from somewhere or other. I'm not that good a woodworker. I wish I was, but I'm not. And then actually take the time to draw the design on, and that can take hours. So that's where the cash goes. And of course, all the fun of varnishing. Yeah, the least interesting bit. So what else do I make? Well, there are a few interesting things like these, which are actually mirrors. So little hand mirrors. And again, it's something that I'll make to order with people's names on, or odd things, dice, all sorts of things. What else do we have here? Another box with a dragon on. Everybody loves a box with a dragon on. And what does this one have inside? Lots and lots and lots of things. So the simplest kind of plaque you might find are things like this, where they're just simple text in whatever sort of font you want. And again, these are about £10, £12, because they're not very difficult to make. They don't take that long to make. And you can be quite detailed about that. I'm a great Tolkien fan. What's your particular, what's your fandom? What do you like?
Me, I would say probably I like Firefly quite a lot. But I'm mostly just a massive book and comic geek.
Oh, I see. Well, I could definitely understand that. I really definitely can. So you can also, of course, add a design as well as just text. So you can have Draco Dormiens Nunquam Titilandus, which I love as a phrase, because not only is it the Hogwarts motto, but it's also really good advice. Never tickle a sleeping dragon.
Yeah.
In fact, I love the direct translation better still, which is a dragon asleep should never be titillated. But never titillate your dragon when he's asleep. He doesn't like it. So we have all sorts of things like that. And in fact, we have simple witchy things as well, Witch's Workshop and Dragon's Den. I'm sure I've got a Dragon's Den here somewhere. All sorts of things like that. And also some things that are like inspiring quotes.
Lovely. You said you made quite witchy stuff. Do you make things like sets of runes?
Yes.
Things like that for people to practice?
Yes, I absolutely do. Oh, in fact, that's handy. If you give me just one moment. I think I have some square Futhark runes here. Come here. They're escaping me. So we've got little rune sets. These are little square ones. I do have some round ones as well, but not to hand, unfortunately. So yes, let me now put those somewhere. They're going all over the floor, of course. So yes, I do sets of runes, altar plates, big circular altar plates, wooden spoons, witchy wooden spoons, so you can stir a good wish into your cookery, all sorts of different things. So yeah, it's quite interesting. There's quite a lot of crossover into our two worlds, isn't it? With the geeky people, absolutely. And some really pretty things too.
Yeah, that is very
with
pretty.
the goddesses, the triple goddess. I have that on a box as well, I think. Because the good thing is you can put anything you like on anything as long as it'll fit and as long as you have the design. So I do those as well. And there is, oh, here's the one for you. There's the one for your door. Whoops.
Yeah.
And I quite like this one. I actually do have one of those on my door.
I'm not a lady, I'm a witch.
A witch. Terry Pratchett.
How did you get into pyrography?
How did I get into it? Well, actually, it's oddly enough, I went to the Alexandra Palace woodworking show with my ex, who was a great woodworker, and he was there to look at the machinery. So while he was looking at the thing that sliced and diced and cut, a couple of stalls down, there was a chap who was showing people how to do pyrography. And you could have a go if you wanted. You could get a little piece of wood and have a bit of scribble for nothing. Or if you wanted, you could pay £1 whole and he would give you a piece of wood with a design on it, and you could have a go with his machine and see if you could do it. And they had one with the Welsh dragon. So, of course, I had to have a go because I'm a dragon fan. So I had a go and thought, hey, this is really fun. I really enjoy this. And it's so nice because you can make anything you want on anything that will take the design, which is basically British hardwoods. So I had to go there and found that I could do it and thought this was really cool. But you do need special resistance wire to do it. You need a special tool, basically. Now, some of those are like glorified soldering irons, but they're quite hard to use because your hand's a long way from the end, and it makes it quite difficult. You can do bold stuff, you can do runes, that kind of stuff, but I want to do the fancy work. And so there wasn't really a way around it. And bless his heart, he bought me one for Christmas. So I've had my pyrography machine ever since. It's Peter Child's machine, and I'll demo that in a moment. But the tip of it is like this. So you've got an actual wire tip. That bit gets hot. Not at the moment. Obviously, it's not turned on. Otherwise, you'd hear a horrible noise and me scream. And then you burn the design in using that hot wire. And it has temperature control and all the rest of it. And it is an artist's machine. So you can get these really fine, really detailed effects, which is really what I like to do. So you can get the shading, which is what I like to do, if you know what I mean. You get that really detailed look. And it's more fun that way.
Great. Where can people go and buy your work that you've just been showing?
Well, you will find me at various conventions. I'm based in London. I don't have my own transport, so I go to events that I can reach. Also, I do go up to some in different parts of the country. Sometimes you'll see me at Comic-Cons, you'll see me at Showmasters events, things like Witchfest and little cons like Amicon and Kittercon, because my sister lives up that way in Birmingham. And also, I do have a website, although it's very elderly. I'm actually hoping, now I've got a little bit more time, I work in IT, or I did, not anymore. So now I have much more time on the grounds I don't have a job anymore. So I will be bringing up an actual shop website. My website is Scorch Pyro, www.scorchpyro.co.uk, and you can also find me on Flickr as Tracy Anderson, and you can find me as Scorch's Pyrography on Facebook. I'm sure we can add some links at some point, so you can find me there, but they don't have proper shops. So as at the moment, if you see something you fancy, if you remember something you fancy, if there's something you'd like me to make, just drop me a line and drop me a message on Facebook or whatever, or you can find me by email as well. It takes me a little while because you get so much spam, it's ridiculous. And I will be able to make you anything you like at, well, the same prices plus whatever it costs me to post to you, really. I post all around the world. It's not an issue. So, yeah, it's lots of fun that way. You can wait for your parcel to come through the door. It's like Christmas.
Wonderful.
But I am hoping to get to have an actual shop site soon, but it's a case of fitting it in with everything else as well. When I do, there'll be links.
Wonderful. So shall we have a demo then?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'll sign off here and come back in a moment with a view of my desk.
No.
Yep, so here we are back, and you can see my very messy desk where I've been making Hodorb doorstops and my little bit of scratch wood where I've been messing about. So as you can see, I can work on wood or on leather. Let's get that out of the way for now. So this is a piece of leather that I've just been using for practice, and you can see that it's all covered in scribble. Now, the good thing about these pyrography irons is if you can see, just about, the tip of it is shaped like a fountain pen. So what you can do is you can draw a thin straight line this way, just like that. Or if you want a broad line, you can do it that way. And that means that you can basically do calligraphy. As long as you're sort of slow and careful about it. And also, the other thing is, when you've got that straight line, if you pull away briskly, this is a little bit warm actually, it's a little bit too hot, but you can then produce a shaded effect. Yeah, so you can see that's how those things were made almost to look real. So if I draw here this little flower, I'm just using the corner of that hot wire. I'd normally do that, switch and do that with a smaller nib, but just for demonstration purposes, we'll do it with the corner of this. It works well enough. So you can see that we can quite easily draw a cute little flower. And let's improvise some leaves off here. You can see that you move with your hand. You never want to move against your hand. It's very difficult to kind of do that. That's very hard. Whereas to move this way, where you're moving away from yourself, that's actually quite easy. And then we can do the kind of things that you'd expect in a flower. Some lines here, and we can actually say shade that leaf. Again, it's a little bit hot. I really ought to turn it down. Because this machine, being a Peter Child's machine, is controllable. You can control the heat. So there we go. We have a nice dark center there, and we can in fact shade out the middle of our flower as well.
How transportable is your machine? Can you take it for shows and personalise things there? Or
I can. I have done that. With shows that give you lots of space, that works well because you can bring a whole heap of things with you and personalise them. But of course, the things that you make aren't varnished or aren't finished. So I can't varnish them for people because you can't burn through varnish. It makes a horrible, horrible mess for a start. And of course it smells, and it doesn't work. So it only works on raw wood. So that means that things like leather are okay, because I can say to someone, just take that home and give it a coat of boot polish, clear boot polish, and you'll be fine. But with wooden stuff, it's not so good. I do sometimes do it at the big medieval fairs, if I do a big outside fair, and then there's masses of space because you get a whole tent's worth of space and you can take the whole thing. But for events where you get 6 foot, it doesn't really work because you've got most of that taken up by you sitting and doing it. I can let's see if I just move this. I wonder if there's enough cable here to actually show you the machine. I think there might be. Let's just put that on the top of it. And so you can see that it's a little, like a transformer. If I move it a bit closer, maybe you can see there's a dial on the front to control the heat, an on-off switch, and the pen here is connected to it by this long cord, and with the interchangeable tips. And because you can make the tips be anything you like, let me just put the machine back over here out of the way. There we go. Then we can see that here I've made tips of various types, so that I've got narrow ones and wide ones. This is very fine, and I can actually make them any way I like, and then I just keep them in here and switch out to have the one I want. You simply unscrew the little piece of wire from the terminals there, and then you can just swap it over. But that heat control gives you lots of power, because on the leather you can see that you need to be quite careful about that. Wood is actually a little bit, there you go, it's not quite hot enough. Come on, little machine. Have you got enough heat now? There we go. So on wood, again, you do exactly the same thing. You're moving slowly along. Oh, you can't really see that very well, can you? It's a little bit.
No, we might need to.
Yeah, I'm afraid you've got a bit of glare there. So let's see if it helps if I turn that. There we go. I thought it might. It's a little bit bright for the wood because the white washes it out. So you can see that you have the same kind of thing going on. You can draw whatever you like, but you do need to be, whoa. You do need to be a bit, I think I've whacked my Pyro machine out of whack. There we go. So you need to be quite precise about what you're doing. And again, you have the same kind of thing here. We can draw away from our line to get a shaded effect. And when we do this on something round, you know, that obviously gives us that roundness that makes your dragon or whatever it is you're doing look real. So you can have you can have his wings and make those wings look real by essentially let's give him a little claw. When we do this, and let's just improvise a little bit here. So when these join here, then we pull away down the wing, and we can see we have a better effect.
Yeah, that's fab.
Oh, I'm getting some strange noises. I hope you're not.
No, I'm not.
Oh, good. Good. It sounds terrible here. You sound like a Dalek. So I hope that's helped and shown you the kinds of things that I do. So I am Scorch's, excuse me, I am Scorch's Pyrography, and I'm sure you've seen me before at events and seen those little cards before. I'm lucky enough to have that drawn by a friend of mine. I can do all kinds of different designs, things that are text, obviously very easy. I'll actually draw those out beforehand, because that is the thing with pyrography. You do need to have it sort of drawn beforehand, because you can't fix it. If you make a mistake, that's it. You're there. You can't remove it. With wood, you can kind of sand it out a little bit, but with leather, that's it. So you do have to make sure that you get it right the first time. So I always do my very best, which means you need a good design first. Lots of those come from general internet sources, you know, the image libraries, or I'll trace them, or some I draw myself. All depends.
And we're back with Scorch.
Absolutely.
Given us a lovely demonstration. So do you want to just remind us where we can find all of your work?
Absolutely. So I'm Tracy Anderson, otherwise known as Scorch, of indeed Scorch's Pyrography. I'm glad you liked your demo to see how pyrography or wood burning is done. And you can indeed find me on the internet. You can find me as Scorch's Pyrography on Facebook. You can find me as Tracy Anderson on Facebook. If you know me, come say hello. You can also find me on Flickr as Tracy Anderson. You can find me on Instagram as Scorch Pyro, and you can find me on generally the internet as scorchpyro.co.uk. I'm hoping to actually add a proper selling site to that, an actual website where there will be a shop. However, there's not one there at the moment. Please just drop me a message. Just drop me an email, drop me a message via Facebook or whatever you wish, and we'll talk about it, and we'll sort it out from there. Anything you want, if I can make it for you, if I have the bits or can get the bits, have the design or can get or make the design, then it shall be yours.
Wonderful. Thanks very much for your time today.
Well, thank you. It's been really fun.